Boom! And we are live. I think we're live. Are we live? We are such a professional show. Hey, folks, and welcome back to Amigos and Co. It is, of course, me, your second host, Steve. First host is, I haven't seen the screen. I don't know if he's there or there. He's around here somewhere. Chris Vandal. We are here to talk shit, educate, elucidate, inform, and basically just fill some time. So, yeah. Over to you, Chris, whichever side you're on.
That's the thing. I never know what side I'm on when I'm doing it with the stream. I mean, I guess I could look at the screen or whatever. Anyways, shit, not too much going on. Had a lazy weekend. We got into a new video game, and yeah, because I'm 8 years old. But I do remember this, and so since we're going to get into it, you gave me a challenge last week, and you told me, hey, you stupid piece of crap, try something new. So I was like, you know what, alright. I am running the Anarchist V3 Hexome with the dang on top and Breestone's coils on the inside. Ooh, you can't see nothing. And Anarchist Pink. And just to prove it so it's not like the vape pictures I take for work where I act like I hit it and don't. I probably gotta turn it up, but it's not bad.
You enjoying the setup then? How's it feel in your hand?
Actually, this is probably one of the most comfy mods I've had, and I always tote the top side, for its comfiness. But man, this one right here is fucking comfortable. Like, the grip is perfect. The thumb length, I'm not feeling like I'm over here trying to learn, like, Neanderthal moves and shit. So.
That's the thing. We've talked about that last week, about, how they've stuck with the same design. They've gone through 3 versions, and they hit that V3, and they just stuck there. Nothing's really changed that much. And you look at it, and it looks like a box. It's a project box. It's a Hammond project box. It looks like it would be uncomfortable. It looks unwieldy. But it is one of the most comfortable devices there is to use. I actually pulled out, in your honor, my one, which is not an Anarchist, but I threw the goat on there in your honor, because that's what your favorite device is. And I threw in, of course, Anarchist Pink. And I got that running at, it's about 60.
Nice. So, obviously, I'm a noob with doing real building and putting shit together. I got mine set at 50 right now, and I'm not throwing that big of clouds, but I think I'm going to crank it up later and try it. I'm going to try when I'm not online, so if I do blow up, Kumo, that guy in New York can't use it for his advantage or whatever, because apparently vaping is going to give you coronavirus, and it will make you die or something. So that's what he says, at least.
Yeah, never listen to a mayor. Well, this is my local mayor. He's pretty cool. But other than that, no. Look, you're not going to blow up with one of these watches. The worst thing that's ever going to happen is it's just going to shut down. It's just going to stop working.
Yeah.
In which case, if you fuck the internals, as we've said before, get online, find Hexome, send them a message, ship it off. They'll send you back the same box on the outside. I'm pretty sure this is how they fix things. They literally take out the guts, throw them aside, put in some new guts, send you back the box. If I was them, it would be the simplest and easiest fix, just to make sure it works, not having to fiddle with anything, just put in new guts. I'm sure they've got a shelf of them sitting there ready to go.
Yeah,
they are damn nice devices. What else are you using today?
Well, and then other than that, just the regular setup, the top side with the goat on top. And then, that's it, Anarchist Pink. I know you said you had the Hexome out for sake, but what else you got, man? I know you got more than one.
Of course I got more than one. I'm still vaping on the Aegis X with the Asmodus Viente. I finally remembered the name of it. This is the one that I've been using mystery juice in, just whatever collection of old bottles I have sitting there, just using them up, getting them out of the way. I have no idea what this is. It's got a picture on the front. You see it?
What is that? A jackalope?
I don't know. It's like Chinese soldier, I think. It says Noble on the side. I have no idea what flavor it is. It's kind of weird. I'm vaping it. It's okay. I've gone through 3 bottles on this coil so far, various juices. It's going to be my experiment for the last couple of weeks just to see how this works. I'm still using those Hellbeast coils, and I'm really impressed by the lack of retention the cotton has. I throw in a new flavor after finishing a bottle. I'm not changing the coil. I'm not even wiping out the tank. And within a couple of puffs, I've switched over. It's almost like a quick switch, and there's nothing left of the old flavor. It's not really holding that the old flavors, which is really, really nice to see. I always love the Hellbeast coils, and so that's a good thing. So there's that. I'm also, of course, vaping this thing, like I said. I also have the Odin, and I finally changed out the topper on there. This is the not quite released, not ready for prime time. Can't really tell you about it. New Aegis, no, not Aegis. Zeus X mesh tank, which is damn nice. I decided I like it a little closed off. It's really rare for me. I usually just leave things slammed wide open. I play with the airflow for the sake of reviews, but for actual use, I usually go for maximum air. But this one, I'm running it at 50 watts. It's coming to 0.14. It's a mesh coil in there, and I've got it down somewhere between a third and a quarter of the way. Really nice vape, a little milder, but yeah. I find it closing the airflow off condenses the vapor a little bit. It also makes the output a little hotter. Mesh, I always find you don't want to turn it up too high, so in order to increase the heat, just tighten off the airflow a little bit. This will be coming out for review probably on the 27th. I have nothing else to review. I have 3 things to review, all of which have set dates that I can't go for. This will be the next one. On top of that, I got a little excited by using some old school stuff. So I went for this setup. This is the DB3, and if anyone in chat can name that, let's see if you can see it. Pretty sure someone out there is going to know what it is. Anyway, I'm running some no-name juice, Trouble Mint Pink Lemonade Gum. I've got this running at 110 watts, 0.11 breeze tones in here. This is fucking killer setup. Perfect hand feel. Oh, by the way, if you haven't figured it out yet, this is the Twisted Message Squared.
That's Squared. We were talking about that. I don't know if it was on this show or the Friday show. But when I first started working with the industry and shit, that was still kind of popular before it phased out. And I thought the idea of a square build deck was pretty fucking bitchin' because of the space it gave you. Yeah. But man, it didn't look good on much other than, to me personally, than a hexome.
Are you thinking of the squared or the cubed?
Oh, never mind. I'm thinking of the cube, not the squared.
This deck is...
Yeah, that's the round one. I get them fucked up.
Yeah, fairly straightforward. The cube was the one that he I guess he came up with the name squared. He went, well, what's the next level? Cubed, and then went for that square thing, which I think I might have one here, never used, never really appealed to me that much. Twisted Messes, Kent has come up with the most original, innovative ideas for RDAs for the longest time. This is it's a really, really nice RDA, well built, well designed, solid performer. It's not really the simplest to deal with airflow. It's got I'm not even going to do it here. It's got knurling around the top that really fucking hurts your fingers, and it's got an outer barrel, so you have to unscrew to adjust the barrel to the right place, and then screw it down. You can't just adjust. It's nice when you've got it dialed in, but trying to adjust it can be a bit of a bitch.
Yeah.
Once it's in place, it's a really nice setup, and I think it fits perfectly on the DB.
And it was fun to take pictures of Twisted Messes round decks because, like you said, it's got like the 4-part components to it. And then when I would photograph them, for work, I would be able to like set them all in different spots and do cool stuff with them. But while we're here, I want to shout out some people in the chat. There's someone we haven't seen in a while. Fucking Spork Life. What's up, dude? Thanks for hanging out. Good to see you. And then we also got Jason. He's coming out. He's moving out here to the Las Vegas area soon. Shout out to him. He's gonna have to endure the summer heat. So yeah, you're coming at the right time. We got Jangles always danglinging or whatever it is.
Jangles is using the views with E-Blue. Flavor profile is pretty much straight ass.
That's cool. We eat ass here.
Is E-Blue, is that the same as blue? Like the sticks? Because
I don't
got
think
some
so.
blue sitting there and I'm never using it. I did the review. I was done with it. But one of the very few companies that was really, really generous, they sent me out a box with a single pod system and then doubles of every single flavor in double strength for every flavor. So it's like a massive box of pods. Literally, it's a year's worth of pod use. And they're just sitting there over there that they'll never be touched because it's a decent system, but it's not to my taste, and the flavor's just, straight ass.
Yeah.
Straight up ass. Sorry, man, I interrupted. You got to continue. There's more people worth saying hi to.
Yeah, we got Joshua Miller in here. Shout out to him. He's always hanging out with us. Leanna's Vaping, if you guys didn't know, she's also a hairdresser local to the Vegas area. Found our show randomly one night. And she ended up being a really good friend and a great advocate. So check her out.
Awesome.
And then let's see who else we got. Wow, Vapor Swaggins, my twin sister in the chat. I don't know if he's still here. And then if you guys didn't see it earlier too, I was giving some gruff on the Omi show earlier. He's on there too. He's also on the Vape Stew on Fridays before our show. And then let's see, we got Drip Vibe in the chat. And we also got the Tick Begin Shannon, the homie over there from your side of the woods. Super cool guy. But yeah, I think I hit everyone. I don't think I'm forgetting anyone. If I forgot you, I am sorry. But yeah, while we're in this weird awkward moment of me transitioning subjects, I didn't put it in the post today. If you guys didn't see, I did do a pretty bitchin'. It looks like a pro Photoshop job. You could totally see our skin tones match. But I didn't put it in the post.
Yeah.
We'll be giving away tonight a Desire Design X Mini. And it's a 21700 battery, so if you guys don't have one, you'll need a sleeve for it. But yeah, whoever wins that, that's what you'll be getting tonight. But it doesn't come with the sleeve, unfortunately. But yeah, that's what you'll be getting later on.
Nice.
Oh, Brett Jordan's in the chat too. What's up, Brett?
That reminds me, one of these days, you and I are going to sit down and I'm going to have a chat with you about using masks for blending. Oh, I'm going to blow your mind in Photoshop.
So here's the thing. You guys,
I'm going to teach you how to use masks.
And here's the thing, and that's that. And like, this is something I've always avoided because of how cutthroat it can be, especially with people that use cheap shit photo crap shop jobs on their photos and call themselves like pros and all this stuff, which is whatever. You know, I'm not hating on what anyone does, but because of where I work and what I do, people think me to be the most experienced Photoshopper in the world. I don't know shit. No, I know enough, you know, but like, yes.
Look, man, it's one of those things. It's like anything. You know what you know, you use what you know, and you just gradually, one piece at a time. You can't see my hands. You find a new thing and you extend it.
Yeah.
And you incorporate it. Now you know that much, and then you find something else and you extend it, and you gradually. And Photoshop's one of those things. Like, people can get so intimidated because there are multiple ways to achieve the same thing. And there are multiple tools.
Every tool has like 5 options to use, and then if you accidentally hit Q on your keyboard, you lose all your progress and you fuck up and you lose your tip. Well, not your tip, but you know, I call it a tip for what you're doing with stuff. But yeah, I know enough to do what I need to do, but I definitely need some learnings because I don't know if you guys noticed, I'm trying to up the game up for our promo where there's stuff, and I get it, you know, it's been done before, you know, there are plenty of people who've been doing the face swap on graphics and stuff, but I think it's fun because you can tell that I did try to put it together, but obviously it's not super pro, and that's what I love about it. It's kind of grimy and gritty, you know?
Oh, no, I think you did an awesome job for a promo. It's great. I wasn't, I mean, don't get me wrong, I wasn't trying to...
I know.
To attack or put you down. It's just that having watched you work for a little while, I can see, okay, that's something that I can see that he doesn't know, and I think that it would be a really, really powerful and useful tool.
Well, especially with us... Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, anyway, we'll get into that out of the show, because this is not Photoshop hour. This is This is some sort of vape show, apparently.
Yeah.
Apparently, we're supposed to be talking about vape. So, what's the news of the world? There is a bill. Okay, we're going to talk about something else. I was going to talk about the bill that's going on in the States, which is halfway there. You guys all know about this, and of course, you're going to hit the rallies if you can. You're gonna do all the Twitter stuff. You're going to do all the emails. You're going to make the phone calls, because I know you are all hardcore advocates. That's what we do. That's what you do. I know that. But I'm going to go off on a rant about something else that pissed me off. I saw someone post in Australia yesterday, literally last night, on a group, that they had just passed a bill in the States banning blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, first of all, that was 2 weeks ago. Second of all, it's only halfway there. And are you paying attention? And this is where, I have so many times said that we need to get out of our little circles and stop preaching to the converted. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we do need to start working more on ourselves in these groups. I don't know. And this person, I know of this person, and I know of this group. It's a very active group. They're always posting, and this guy is posting daily. And it just blew my mind that someone in this day and age, active on social media, could not know that the bill was passed a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. And then someone else posted like an hour after that saying, "What's this I hear? Nicotine is illegal to import into Australia?" I'm like, well, fucking hell. Okay. No, it's not. That's not what happened. And that was, again, last week. Stay on top. I don't expect everyone to be on top of things all the time, but holy fuck, man, people need to pay more attention to the things that matter, and the legal and social and political efforts that we are making. We need everyone on board. It drives me nuts. It drives me nuts.
That's one thing I want to throw in real fast before, we finish the rant, is
I'm done.
Facebook groups are a good way to spread information, but they're also chock full of fucking bullshit, guys. And that's the thing, is you got to be careful with who you're taking your information from, because like Steve said, there's always somebody that knows something, but make sure if you ever post anything in these groups, you have a credible source, a link to an article or a link to something to back it up, because that's why. And besides the shitpost group I'm in, that's kind of vape related, but not really, we're just vapors in there, and our Amigos group, I stay away from Facebook groups because of exactly what you just said. There's so many people in there spreading false and fake information. Remember 2 months ago when everyone says, no, something bad's going to happen. I can't tell you why, but I know a guy that knows a guy that knows a guy. No, they fucking don't. No one knows a guy that knows a guy that knows something that's coming on. Because if you actually know something that's credible information, you can share it. Especially if it's pertaining to like a ban, or it's pertaining to stuff like this, where it's like, oh, they're going to take the stuff away. Because they do put it into action in legal sense, on paper, in any kind of government form, number one. And number two, when someone says you just have to trust me, that's when you know you don't. So,
absolutely. On the other hand, you were saying that you stay away from these groups, and then you're a busy guy. I'm not going to attack you, but that's kind of, in a sense, the problem. And those who do know are being quiet. And I'll admit that I saw this post and I did not respond. I let other people handle it because I was just too frustrated and too tired at that point to be in any form of polite.
Yeah.
But we do need to be out there, and it's not just in our own groups. It's everywhere. Just constantly reinforming. One of the things that really, like I said, that's one of the things that annoys me when I see that sort of information or lack of being on top of things. But one of the things that really pleases me, I love this. Whenever there is a story in Australia, it's on the news or whatever, they like to post it on their Facebook group. And because I've got lots of friends and I'm in a number of groups in Australia, these pop up in my feed, and I just smile all morning. I see this anti-vape news post being shared by 7 News or Channel 9 or The Guardian or whatever, and underneath is all my friends, every single one of them,
attacking,
just saying,
misinformation.
Bullshit, this is not true. What about the Royal College of Physicians? What about the air quality tests that were done in San Francisco? What about this? Et cetera, et cetera. They're just reinforming and standing up for their rights, which is just such a good reaffirming thing. To wake up in the morning and sit down and see that's like attack on life-saving technology, and then just see so many people, just so many familiar faces, and just scroll through as like, just like
yeah,
you're a fuckhead.
And there's one. So you bring up a good point.
It's just a beautiful feeling.
You bring up a good point, and I'll go back on what I said. So when you go on like public news feeds and you see it on news pages and stuff like that, yes, I will share articles, I will share ads, because it's to the benefit of the people that don't know. The reason why I like to stay away from Facebook groups, I'm sure people here can relate, because it's not just with vaping, it's with anything. Once you bring a counterpoint to somebody, and no matter how polite you are, next thing you know, you're in a fucking internet fight. And I tell you what, man, I don't get paid enough to sit on the internet and argue with a bunch of people that are fucking stupid. I'm not saying that everyone on the internet is stupid, but once you double down on something that's not true and then try to prove it by either calling names or pointing out, like, you know, like if say like I was in an argument with Steve and he was like, oh, look at you fat Mario looking MF or whatever you got to say, it usually devolves into shit like that. And so that's why I like to stay away from Facebook groups, because they're very cannibalistic. They eat people alive because, you know, oh, I know this or I know that. Oh, one time I took a picture with this famous guy in vape, so obviously I know everything. Stop. Just stop doing that. But yes, I will advocate all day, every day for people to do it on news feeds, because you know who you're hitting. You're not hitting the same pool of people swimming around chasing each other's asses. You're hitting the Karens and the moms and the dads and the people that have no clue with hard proof evidence, hard facts.
Well, yeah, it goes back to the thing that I say every time is that always remember that your comment, you're not leaving it there to get into a fight or to get into an argument or to change the mind of the person you're commenting to. You're leaving it there as a signpost for everyone who comes after you. They see a lie, they see it corrected, and they see it corrected informatively and politely. There's a good word. And they see, you know, links off to cited citations and stuff. They see all of that, so you're leaving it for other people. It's not about fighting or arguing. It's not about rectifying that person's viewpoint. It's about the bigger picture, which is, you know, hopefully what we'll do.
But
DIY Down Under is in our group today. Welcome, thank you for coming. And yeah, that is a great point. She says, remember that when you share negative press anywhere on the net, you feed it to go higher in search algorithms. Absolutely. I try as much as possible to share every possible positive post on my page, on my group page, on my own personal page when I can, although I'm really bad with my personal page these days. But when it comes to negative stuff, try and do a screen grab, try to paraphrase what's going on. We don't need links, so we definitely don't need trackback links. The more you repost a headline, yeah, the more that swings in their favor. It's just the way the modern world works. It's not about truth. It's not about accuracy. It's about clicks.
Yeah.
And yeah,
for someone that gets paid,
try and game that system a little bit.
As someone that gets paid to basically know what algorithms and all this shit do and what you're gonna see, when you see someone going on there and like, so we've all seen it, you know, scrolling these pages. It's like a point I want to piggyback off of Steve, where he said, you know, the negative stuff comes up first because that's what people look at. You want to stop giving attention to these people that are assholes in these comments. Don't laugh, react it. Don't even reply to. You're going to find the comments I mean are the ones like, oh, isn't vaping bad? Doesn't it hurt you? No, those are the ones you need to be like, actually, just study this. When you find the guy that's random Billy McDouchebag going, yeah, vapors are all fucking retards because they stick vapes up their butts. Don't engage, don't respond, because otherwise, like Steve said, the algorithm works where that pushes it to the top. You know what I mean? So instead of doing that, go on there, like the comments of people asking questions, and then post information so that when it pops up higher on the feed, your information's being spread more than going to the guy that looks like a fucking clown, you know, doing that and then him getting the attention. And
well, there's that thing. I mean, we all kind of learn this in the schoolyard at some point, that, you know, bully comes up to you and says something to piss you off. And it's carefully chosen. They've looked at you and they've gone, okay, he's wearing old clothes, or he's got glasses on, or he's got pimples or whatever.
Wow,
They're
I just singled me
a
out.
thing that will really dig into you. Sorry, man. But yeah, they try and find that thing that will dig into you, right? And if you respond, they know they've got it, and so they just continue on that trend. They escalate it, and the more that you fight back, the more they will continue because they love your response. It's not that they actually hate your glasses, your clothes, your pimples, whatever. It's just that that's what works to get the response. They're provoking that response. Most of these people or these comments that you're talking about, it's not that they actually genuinely feel that it's bad for you. They don't really give a fuck. They don't care.
They're called trolls.
They're
people.
out there trolling. They're out there, they're trying to provoke that response. So you're absolutely right. These fuckheads with all their douche flutes, whatever. Ignored. Just ignore them.
And Steve is 100% right, and I can speak to it, and it's not my proudest thing, but I was kind of an internet bully troll kind of guy for a long time. And believe me, if you wrote something stupid that I would write, that I would reply to, and you responded, that's like fucking Christmas, because then again, you get to dig in on somebody. I'm not saying it's right. We all make mistakes. That's what I'd say one of my biggest mistakes is being an internet asshole. Am I not an asshole now? No, of course, I'm still an asshole, but most of the time I just keep it to myself because it's stupid to spread that. But, long story short, try to spread the more positive news, guys. Try to reply more or less to the people that seem like they're genuinely interested in your answer, because then it brings it to the top and more people see your info. But since we're on the subject and I took 2 seconds to make this, I'm going to throw it up right now. The rally. So up on your screen, you'll see right there, UnitedVaporsAlliance.org, fund the rally. That's what's coming again. Like we had, November, when everyone went down and to Capitol Hill and did the meeting and all came together, and you saw the iconic photo of Trump's helicopter flying over the crowd, which I think is going to be something like that you would, not to say the military and it's the same thing, but it's like an iconic image like Iwo Jima raising the flag. That's vaping's raising the flag on the world. So I do think that if you can make it, you should go. And it's not right now to fight for flavors and stuff. It's more or less right now, I believe the feeling is behind the PMTAs, because if the PMTAs go through as it is right now, I can guarantee you that most of the juices that you see on the market are going to be gone, because there has not been one that I know of, actual juice company from people in the industry that we take part of, that have been provided the PMTA process and have passed it, or even applied for it, because it's very expensive. Number one, number two, it's just an extortion on our industry. It's a way for them to get money from us. You're talking about $1 million per flavor per nic line or per level. It's insane. But yeah, so the rally, I'll throw it up one more time.
While we're on the
Go ahead, they can hear us.
I was going to say, while we're on that same topic, the whole lost my train of thought. I don't know how to phrase this. There's a whole segment of our community that feels like there's no point in worrying about this. I'll just move to DIY. I'll just move to mech mods. I make my own coils, and you have to keep in mind that at some point there were simpler, easier options for you that got you into this, and we want this to spread. I was thinking about some things the other night, just some politics and finance and the way the world works, big thoughts type stuff. And I realized, we're paying in excess of $50 for a single pack of smokes in this country right now. Australia has the highest excise tax, and I'm not against that. It is kind of overboard, and it is gouging into those that simply can't afford it. But I'm not against that, because as an effort to reduce smokers, that pattern has worked very, very well over the last few years. But I think it needs to be combined with legalization. It needs to be combined with allowing these products to exist on the market and to be properly regulated, fairly taxed, and easily accessible. If you combine those two things, we could literally end smoking within 4 or 5 years. Literally completely end it. And what a massive, massive boon for public health, for the entire world that could be. Literally, no more smoking, an end to all these COPD and little heart disease, lung disease, throat cancers, these things that are just weighing on the world, weighing on our public health, mental health, weighing on our financial systems. They could just be done with, gone within 4 or 5 years. Just double the price of smokes every year, and push. Okay, you can't afford to smoke, but here's a vape. Just switch. That's all we need to do. Just switch to that.
I think it was
so many problems.
Something came out of the UK, and I always feel bad because I always bring up guys' stuff. Oh, and I never changed my name. I always bring up stuff that I can't help verify with you guys. But what happens was in the UK they said that smoking they plan to be smoke free by 2030. In 10 years, that's how much vaping is taken over there, and the fact that they do have it in the hospitals and all that shit, which is good. But the fact is that country actually cares about the health of its people. And that's the thing, is like you're seeing the difference here between socialized healthcare and we're not going to get in an argument socialism and all this shit, blah, we're not doing that. But what I'm going to get into is socialized healthcare. They made sure to make it a point to try and get rid of people smoking cigarettes because it benefits them in the long run, because it's less money spent on making people healthy when they can already be healthy, have a healthier option, and still be able to attain their vice in a reasonable way and a reasonable tax. And it's just so insane to me that I know this is going to sound very ignorant, but I always had the mind state growing up America first, because we had a lot of technological stuff. But I feel like the roles have switched, and now we've become so reclusive and inclusive with everything that we're not taking what's going on around the rest of the world and using it to our benefit.
Absolutely. We have a socialized health system here, and yet we're sort of in that middle ground. It's in our favor. It's in our benefit to follow the UK system, but I think our politicians they're trying very, very hard to keep that distinction. We used to follow the UK in just about everything, and we're trying to push away from that now and show the Americans that we can be good little lackeys, and we won't follow that. So we're going against our own better interest. Our system is not the American system. Our system is much closer to the British system. We have our own version of the National Health Service. So it makes sense to do everything we can to take a burden off that on a federal level. But we're just not doing that, which is unfortunate. The New Zealanders, of course, have a much better handle on this. They don't really, they've never been the kind of country to bow down to anyone. They've proven that with France and nuclear bombs in the past. So they do it their way, and they're going much better. I do want to address a comment. DIY Down Under has said, DIY will not say vaping. Sure, it's a useful skill, but if there's no commercial flavored e-liquid being produced, not many flavors companies can sustain the 5% of us that DIY as they do now. I agree with most of that. I do think that the flavor companies, they do have other markets. We've taken products that currently exist for other things. They're used for lollies and candies and beverages and all sorts of stuff. But you're absolutely right. There's also the fact that if there's no commercially flavored e-liquid on the market, we're not going to get new converts. It's bad enough in this country that the average person has to purchase their liquid, purchase their device, purchase their coils, go online, find someplace in China or New Zealand, purchase some nicotine, go online again, figure out the exact mills, worry about getting it on their hands, be really, really
It's a second
careful,
job.
wiping that sweat off, drip, 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 shake, can I vape that now, or do I have to wait 3 weeks? Let me go ask online. That's a fucking pain in the ass.
Yeah.
That right there, that's 100% the reason why I back legalization in this country, is because your grandmother shouldn't be doing that. Your friend who's got autism and picked up smoking because it makes him feel calm, he shouldn't be doing that. Fucking nobody should be doing that. I can, but I shouldn't have to. I should be able to walk into a store and say, I've got a bad habit, I want to do something better. Can you show me a couple of products that I can walk out with?
Yeah.
Throw my cigarettes in the garbage can as I'm leaving.
I tell you, I wouldn't quit smoking if I had to make my own liquids. And I'm not dissing on DIY people or nothing like that. You guys are doing some great
Oh,
stuff.
no.
You guys are mixing up stuff. You guys are the underground now. You guys are the underground of vaping. But there's no way I could tell you for a fact that I would have quit smoking cigarettes if I would have had to mix my own juice by myself and learn how to do it. There's no way. It's already hard enough for me to find time to put me and Steve's face on top of Star Trek action figures, much less to be able to go through and then take the time. Because that's going to be a process. I guarantee you there's no way, unless you're a pro, that you can mix and get everything ready in less than an hour, like a week. There's no way.
Look, I'll admit, and what I say, take with a grain of salt. I did in the very early days at one point go, well, I've saved this much money with this, and I've saved, I stopped using pre-built coils and I moved to making my own coils. I've saved more money with that. Could I save even more money making my own juice? Ooh, and I went, and I think I spent like $600-700 in flavors and big jugs of VG and PG and all that stuff. And yeah, I went through about 3 months of combination usage, DIY, and it just didn't work for me. Part of the problem was that I have an interest in filmmaking. I have an interest in cameras. I was running my channel, so I was still reviewing stuff, the early days then. And I had so many other things going on that mixing juice for me was a case of running down, looking at a recipe, drip, 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 shake, 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 and shake and vape. I wasn't even letting things steep properly. It really didn't appeal to me. The same reason I don't bake my own cakes and I don't make my own bread. There are people that do an awesome job with that. I just like to go to the store. That doesn't mean I don't see the value of it, and I don't see the value of people doing that. And like you said, it's not just an intense and very rewarding, passionate hobby for those that are into it, but those are the people that go on to create the next big shifts in the industry in flavors. Some of those people go on to form their own companies. Some of them go on to work for other companies, and some of them just go. They make a juice that is so unique and so different that it trickles, and all of a sudden you have commercial variations hitting the market. At one point, we had tobaccos, custards, and strawberry, and a couple of root beers. There wasn't much else, but it's the DIY people who looked at those catalogs of flavors and went, what could I make with that? And came up with some really, really, really nice flavors. I have nothing but respect for the hardcore DIY people. It's the same as coils. I did my time with the drill and my little swivel bit on the table, and I've learned how to make Claptons, and I learned how to make some really wonky fuse Claptons. I'd much rather just get Adam to do it.
Yeah.
He's really good at it, and he enjoys it, and he has fun with it, and I can benefit from that. I don't have to be there doing that. This is my thing.
Yeah. And then the chat, Rob Gain threw out, he said he agrees, if you're used to wrapping a pack of smokes, the last thing that'll make you quit is DIY. And that's the thing, is you're taking away the ease of access of products. So even if, they were to come out and say, you know what, no commercial juice, you can make your own, you're going to lose a lot of people on that fact. And what they're doing is taking away your right to choose something by ease. And that's how a lot of things get pushed through in the world nowadays. If you don't know, we're a global society. The easiest way to make people stop doing something you don't want them to do is make it harder for them to get.
Well, you think about it. There are, and there always have been, like thousands of guys around the world that love nothing more than sitting in their garage with a piece of shit old car that they're fixing up. That's what they're into, and they're on forums and they're hunting down parts, and they know the inside and outside of every fucking engine and how it works and all that stuff. They are at this portion, and the rest of us, we just buy a car, fill it with gas, and drive it. That's all we needed to do. Maybe we make it nice and clean on the inside. I don't, but some people do that. I've heard, but most people are just going to drive their vehicle, and they literally want to go in, pick something nice that suits them, and drive it. And we are a very, very lazy society. One of the reasons I love Samsung is because every time I get a new phone, I literally put one down, I put the other down, I hit two buttons, and within 10 minutes, boom, It's comfortable. It's got my same background. It looks just like my old phone. It works just like my old phone. It's got the same saves in there. It's like it's new, but it's old. I love it. It's easy. It's simple, and that's exactly what we like. We like to pick up a vape that vapes just like we like it, just like the old one was. And we want to pick up, as someone who's quitting, we want to pick up something that is familiar, is comfortable, is easy, is different enough to differentiate, but is simple enough. I saw, who was it? iJoy? I think it was iJoy. Just a little ad video thing that came up in my Facebook feed yesterday. And it was just this girl with this little vape, and she vaped it and blew a little cloud. Quite impressive little cloud for the device. Little pod system. Looked like one of those old Cigalikes. Literally, like that's how far back we've gone. It was round. It was tubular. It had the pod that kind of looked like the cigarette butt part. It lit up at the end, but I think it was blue instead of red. It was just a nice little device. And it was like, oh, we've actually rolled right back to the very, very beginning. And I can see that device being really, really popular. All the benefits of modern technology, but all the benefits that those original devices had for people transitioning. It's comfortable. It feels familiar. Fits in my shirt pocket. Don't need to buy fancy coils and all that shit.
Yeah.
But I can put my own juice in it. It's not Juul, so I can just fill it up and leave the bottle at home because it's high owned. It'll last me all day long. Glenn Hafner, I will talk nerdy to you all day long, anytime you want. I actually see. I thought that pod mods was going to be the next big thing, and I still do think it's going to come back hard when China comes back to full power. But if this little device that I saw takes off, and I kind of hope it does. I think that I'm not comfortable personally with that format. I'm too far away from smoking, but I definitely think there is a massive market for that sort of Ciga-like style.
And that's the thing too. People don't understand. Like, if you don't think that comfortability is a thing, then why do they make it look like a cigarette? Because you feel comfortable doing that because it's what you're used to. So comfortability is a huge issue, especially in whether it's like from your socks to your shoes to something that you're going to be puffing on all day. Comfortability is a huge issue. And that's why, like, I personally, do I like pods? No. But I will never, ever talk crap about anyone that uses any kind of device to find a better way to do it.
Absolutely not. I mean, I agree with you. That's what I'm
Yeah.
I've long railed against that. We see people all the time splitting and devising, in the industry and talking against pods. Like pods are the ruin of the industry, which is, just a story that we've heard over and over. It was going to be snapbacks, tattoos, and cloud chasing was the ruin of the industry. It was going to be building your own coils. All sorts of things are apparently going to ruin the industry. And I just detest that concept. We move slowly through, and we find our spot, and we stop. And some people, they're just going to stop right at the pods. Other people are going to move through the pre-builts to the Claptons and stop. Other people are going to move all the way to DIY and stop. Everyone's going to find the place where they want to be, but we're all going to start. Theoretically, we're all going to start as a smoker, and that little hurdle there, from one to the other, moving the rest of the way is easy. Just take that step when you want, but that little hurdle, making that as simple and as easy and as painless as possible. If that means having tobacco e-liquids, which I despise, go for it. If it means making it look like a cigarette, go for it. If it means 1,000,001, I pull out a box to show my wife something, and all my old pod systems that I reviewed for like 6 months were in there, and I just pulled out like a handful, like literally, and they were all leaking because they sat in the box for a year. But just like all these little stick systems that I never use them again. They're not to my taste. Oh, we'll continue using something like this, but when it's done, review's over, I don't care about them. But for a lot of people, it's a life raft.
Yeah.
out of a bad habit, and I've got nothing but support for that.
And especially imagine like how easy it is for someone that just quit, that's not a part of like the community like we are, the industry, or into all the swaggy parts of it and stuff like that. How easy it is for them to grab something that they could put in their pocket and go do their 9 to 5 job or whatever it is all day and use it. It's a tool that you can use. And Leanna in the chat says she uses a pod stealth where she can't vape normally. That's the big thing too. And I don't ever like to try to be negative on the show, but the worst part is I see these people saying that pods are in the world, yet when they're on a flight or when they're traveling abroad or they're in a place where they can't use a full setup, I bet your ass they got a pod in their pocket. And so stop being this whole community of boys and girls and this is cool, that's not cool, that's this, that. Stop being so fucking cliquish. That shit's stupid. You have to be an adult to vape. You didn't act like a fucking adult when you use it.
Look, I am privileged enough to be pretty much at home most of the time. I'm fairly antisocial, so I don't have to worry. I can have big, massive boxes and incredibly low clouds, and I have a big room here. I can cloud the fuck out of this place, and you wouldn't barely notice half the time. But I still remember working 9 to 5, or worse, working graveyard shifts, working in offices. I worked in kitchens, and the amount of times as a smoker in those days, desperate for a break. And of course, you go out and you try and smoke 2 or 3 really, really fast in 15 minutes. I would have killed for a high-strength pod system in those days, especially when I worked in the kitchens, because holy crap, you walk into the cooler, walk out, and there's that little puff of cold air. It's hot. Nobody can tell that you vaped. It smells a little fruity. Well, fuck, I work in a kitchen. Of course it smells like food. It would have been such a lifesaver on those long, stressful nights. Not that you should vape or you shouldn't vape. I'm not suggesting that.
Yeah. We're not telling you to do nothing wrong, but we understand real life shit, some gray areas, just like when you need to have your vice for the quick moment. But speaking of which, if you guys haven't been paying attention, I know we got a couple people who haven't been here for a while, and it looks like we have a couple new people. Steve Legion here is doing a documentary, and he's traveling around, and he's getting from real life perspectives and stuff. And I'm not even going to step on your toes by explaining it wrong. You want to go ahead and explain it a little bit? And I made a slideshow with Steve's graphics, so I think they're bitching, and I also throw the link in the chat. But yeah, I'm going to put up the graphics, and then if you just want to talk about it.
I will do so. So the basic plan is that I want to make a movie. It's going to be first-person stories, real-life stories for people that have managed to transition from smoking to vaping, and some that have even managed to quit vaping as well, if I can get the right numbers in there. The idea is to get their own words, to tell their stories in personal experience. I'm going to do my very, very best to cut and edit this whole thing so that I'm never on screen and you don't even hear my voice. I am behind the scenes in this. I really want it to be their voice. The idea of this is to basically talk about the challenges of being a smoker, what has led them to be a smoker, what has led them to continue smoking, how difficult it has been to quit, and also how that transition actually worked for them and continues to work for them, whether they continue to smoke continue to vape, or whether they've managed to transition off of nicotine or off of vape altogether. Doesn't really matter. What matters is that this is their genuine story. I think that we have an awful lot of negative press in the industry, or in the public media, and we're portrayed as being tattooed, snapbacked, hipsters, teens with bad habits. We're being portrayed in all sorts of ways. And I just kind of want to counter that a little bit with some genuine real-life story, with real-life people, just to show the broad spectrum, that variety of faces and people that actually are part of this community. And they are. A lot of people don't partake in this YouTube thing. A lot of people don't partake in, Facebook and Instagram and all of that. We are the minority. We are that small, vocal 10%. There's a lot of people out there that just go into their shop, buy their stuff, and go home, and they're happy dealing with, their transition. I want to highlight those people as much as I can, because those are the faces that will sell what we're doing to the public. And we really need to turn that around to let people know that, it's not a ploy by big tobacco. We're not all big tobacco shills. We're just genuine, real life people with family, with kids, with jobs that are just trying to get by and do a little bit better for our health and, for our health.
And so
that's basically it.
I threw the link in the chat, guys, and I've talked about it on our show before. I talked about Friday. I'll talk about it every week until it's out. I think it's a great idea because, like Steve said, he's getting the personal perspective of the people that you don't see on here, like us talking to you about it. It's going to be the people that this will really, truly affect. And now I'm not saying, if vaping were to be gone tomorrow, we would have this underground network of smuggling vape juice and stuff like that. But I feel confident enough that any of us here, because it feels like we're more a part of the group, would be able to find a way to do it or find a way to get something legal or not, you know what I mean? But what it really will affect are those thousands and hundreds of thousands of people that have no clue about YouTube and this stuff. Not on Instagram, they're not on Facebook doing this. And those are the people that are most likely going to switch back because unlike us with connections to people in different places of the world with it, being able to attain it legally or not, these people will not be able to be in that same area or same group of people like we are. So this is something that's really going to affect everyone and then more severe than others. And that's why I really do think that this is a great idea. Steve, if you haven't seen his stuff, is a great filmmaker. I believe that it's going to do great. If you guys haven't seen the videos, unfortunately, I haven't figured out how to put videos up here yet, or otherwise I would. But they're super good. And then here's the thing. If you can't donate money, share it on your social media if you can. Please, just put it out there. Facebook, Instagram, and all that stuff. Just getting the word out. And like we talked about earlier in the show, the algorithms, the more we get the attention on it out there, the more that it'll be picked up and advertised by the social media platforms in your explorers or just scrolling your pages and stuff like that. So if you guys can...
DIY Down Under, sorry to interrupt, DIY Down Under is asking, do you want people to send you short films with a story or book a filming with you or both? Basically, the concept is I want to do as polished, as professional a video, like a proper full-on documentary as possible. I want this to be beautiful. I want it to be engaging. I want it to really strike people and stand out. And an hour or so of people talking about smoking and quitting and vaping and stuff can be a tricky subject to do. So, got to pull all the filmmaking tricks out of the bag to keep people engaged. A lot of that's to do with editing, but also a lot of that's to do with what we capture and how we capture it. So I put together a budget that's as bare bones as possible. This is a single person run and gun shoot. There will be a few people that I pull in different locations, but as much as possible, it's literally me hauling gear to locations. I live in northern rivers, which is quite regional. So it requires me to basically go on the road for about a week to 2 weeks. The idea is that I will be flying to Adelaide, Melbourne, Sydney, a few other stops if I can fit them in and as the budget goes. So the travel expenses and the accommodation, which is fair enough, those are a big portion of the budget. The rest is just some specific little bits and pieces to make it work properly. Storage and some stuff like that. I have lights and sound and all that stuff here. And I'm going to do, a lot of, nice B-roll footage. So the idea is to go set up somewhere and have a predetermined day where certain people come in at specific times with a nice location and it looks beautiful and the light is right. I can sit them down and we can just have a conversation. Just me chatting through some basic points and drawing that story out of them from beginning to end, and then putting that data aside and then doing it with the next person. And maybe in between, it's going to be around some shops, could be around their houses. I could get some of that B-roll footage and move on to the next place and just accumulate those stories over the course of that week. Come back here and the next 2 to 3 months is going to be basically cutting it up, putting it together, making it really, really beautiful. It's got to be engaging from the beginning to the end. It's got to draw people in and keep them viewing. So yeah, it's going to work, but I'm willing to do that. But to answer your question, yeah, footage sent to me from different cameras where I'm not in control of the lighting and I'm not in control of the angles and all that. I hate to sound really arrogant, but it's not going to cut it to make this work. I need to bring my gear to a location and have full control of how it feels, how it appears. I want to do the dual camera thing. So we've got
Steve has a vision, guys.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the basic rundown of all of that.
DIY says,
yeah. Steve's for Steve knows nicotine. I wish that I had the funding they have, but yeah, I have nothing but respect for those guys.
You know what? Since they threw that out there, and DIY did. You know, I got an idea. We can throw in a cool name for you. How about 1 billion Steves Down Under? I mean, it sounds like a porno, but you never know. You know, you could change it up.
Are you coming to Las Vegas? Oh,
he wishes.
That might be the sequel. That could be the sequel. Look, to be honest, the fundraiser, the crowdfunding is on one site. It's an all or nothing deal. So basically, I either make my fundraising and then I make the movie, or I don't, and I have a little cry and I figure it out. And it is currently set at 17,000, which sounds like a big number, but it does take a lot to get a proper job done. That doesn't really preclude me going overseas. I'm sorry. This is designed to be, I mean, it's a universal story. That's the concept here, is that everyone's story has certain similarities. And no matter who I'm talking to, whether it's Sam the vaping bogan or Frank the accountant, their story is going to be very much the same. And that's part of what the editing process is aimed at highlighting. But yeah, the point is those stories are going to be all similar. But yeah, I can't really go overseas to do this. That's just way too much funding to ask for. So yeah, doing the Australian specific to get that started and to do a good job. Perhaps we could do a sequel. Once that's done, and go overseas and redo the whole thing. I think it'd probably be better to do a different angle, but I do think, you know, my goal is that if this is well received, that we can then move to the next step, which is, you know, just like A Billion Lives. They went on and did another documentary. I may go do that.
And another part I think is cool is that as far as it goes with the worldwide view, excuse me, Australia isn't really Australian vapors aren't very well represented, I don't think. And so that's why, like, you know, the traveling thing would be cool and stuff, but we have, I can't name a bunch off the top of my head, of course, but you see them floating around. There's a lot of documentaries in the States. People are just getting tired of hearing about shit from the States. I want to hear something from somewhere else in the world.
You do have a point. I mean, I actually kind of laughed. I was watching a good friend stream yesterday, All Day Vapes, and he was doing his a little bit late, but he was doing his 2019 roundup. DIY Down Under was in the comments there. We were having a good laugh and a good chat. But she said something that really chuckled me. She's like, she says, "Are you going to do a best of Australian reviewers?" And then she named, like, I think it was 6 people. It was like, that's all of us. That's literally all of us. There aren't anyone else. There's a handful of people. In the past 4 or 5 years I've been doing this, I've seen some people come and go. And usually it's within the first 3 months. And I think the same goes for the entire world. It's usually they come on hard and they start to trickle down, and they just don't have the passion to sustain it. You have to be willing to keep working at this and know, yeah, you're a loser who just sits and talks to a camera and nobody subscribes to you and your views are low, and you just got to keep throwing the money into it, throwing the time into it, and just keep doing it nonstop. We, unfortunately, we don't have the same representation online, especially on YouTube, that America does percentage-wise. The percentage of reviewers to vapors is very, very high there. The UK has the similar sort of thing going, a very, very high percentage of reviewers representing all the different aspects of the vaping world. I know Europe has a massive community of native language reviewers. German and Russian both come to mind. I think there's a few Spanish as well. They review in their own language for their own population, and they have massive followings. We have, yeah, 4 or 5 or 6. And that's not a huge amount of numbers. They are all deserving, absolutely deserving of better numbers. I often feel guilty sometimes that I've actually done so well, and there's a couple others that I think really deserve numbers. All Day Vapes, go check them out. DIY Down Under. I know we bagged out DIY a little bit in this video, but if you are into DIY Down Under, her name's down there, whichever direction, I can't figure it out. Wherever the chat is, go click on her name, find her channel, and subscribe. She's awesome. I will admit I don't watch as much as I could because I don't DIY, but if you're into that, definitely check her out.
Also, I just threw her a wrench, so if you want to toss in your link in their DIY, please do. And that's the thing is, like I was saying, definitely need to show a little bit more inclusion with our community from people from around the world that are vaping, because like you said, there's the turnaround rate on the amount of vapors to reviewers in the US is insane. And don't get me wrong, like, of course the big guys are big for a reason. They do good stuff, they do clean stuff. But if it's any testament to, like, putting your faith in the smaller people and seeing where they grow, you wouldn't be here with us right now. Because, well, Legion had a following, but he started from nowhere and built himself up to that. And we're gracious enough to have him a part of the Amigos when we put all this together. I'm not somebody that you guys have ever heard of before. I'm not somebody that's giving you guys reviews or nothing like that. For some reason it is, you guys are here listening to us bitch at each other and cut each other off and, doing this stuff. And I feel like if you guys keep coming back, obviously you're enjoying it. So do it for someone else. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not telling you to go watch a video that sucks and that somebody just, whether they can't transcribe the message well, like when I get all excited like I am right now, or if they're just doing something that's stupid. But what I'm telling you is to reach out there into the community and then bring each other up. It used to be the biggest guys that would do videos all the time was always just like Grim Green, Rip Trippers, and, those guys like that. And now you have people out here like us doing this. You have people like All Day Vapes, which, by the way, awesome guy. Steve already said it. Go check him out. We're probably gonna have him on the show in a few weeks. All this shit. But there's a lot of people out there that have a lot of good information to share. And if the information's not that great and they don't know everything, like I don't know everything, the passion that we put behind this stuff is because we really do want to send the message that, this isn't something that is just like, a substitution for cigarettes. This is what literally brought me out of nowhere to here in front of you guys with people like Legion, and vaping was the reason. So don't let it die. I don't think it's going to die. I have a lot of faith in this stuff. Every time it gets dark, it comes back. But it's still good to be proactive in the community.
I've told this story before, but when I first started, before even thought of having a channel, I went online. I went onto YouTube, and I found Grim Green. And I got really, really excited. Something about the way that he spoke and he portrayed himself really resonated with me. And then I found a couple other people, and they resonated with me in a different way. And they really, really intrigued me. I was excited. I hit the bell, and I was there for like the live streams, and I was there for just about every review, even stuff I didn't care about at that point. And I was just more and more intrigued by these different people. And what really became clear to me was that each one of them represents a different personality archetype. And some of their viewers crossed over, but a whole slew of their viewers stayed on this group and maybe a couple of those ones. And this guy had these people, and this girl, she had these people. And there was like all these different personalities. And that's when I started to realize that it's not that we're overblown and there's too many of us, it's that there's not enough of us. Each person represents a different personality archetype that will resonate and really speak truthfully in their own way to different people. And there's always room for more people. I very specifically, and here's the weird thing. When I was a kid, you guys know, big mohawk, big spiked hair, punk rock, until the birthday party. I tried so hard to be a musician. And I was for a while. And I tried so hard to be an artist, and I kind of was for a while. And I used to be confession time. I used to get paid by the Canadian government to be a performance poet. I actually did gigs at government-sponsored homeless youth.
I'm not laughing at you. Just like, it's just such a, it's so different, the journeys that people have, and that's an experience that you can share.
I tried so hard all my life. The word was transgressive. Do you know that word?
Transitioning aggressively?
No. It means that where the moral, ethical, and social boundaries are, you go beyond. You question them. You cause people to think and feel uncomfortable, and therefore examine the world and world and life and all that stuff. Anyway, I just wanted to be transgressive. I just wanted to be shocking. I wanted to be out there, and so this is where my background was. But I'm kind of old. I'm a bit tired. I'm a little bit fat, and I just want to sit here. And when I started doing my channel, I decided that I wanted to make it more accessible. Transgressive as an art concept is fine, but I wanted everyone to feel really comfortable being able to sit down and watch one of my reviews. And if their kids came in, it wasn't a problem. And if their grandma was there and they said, "Grandma, look, I've been watching this. You've been smoking too much. What do you think about this device? Watch what this guy says." And I wanted that to be something that they would never, ever have any kind of doubts about. Emailing it to a coworker or a friend, a grandma, whatever. So I made absolutely certain no swearing on my channel. Absolutely. There's a couple of times I chuckle at everything, but I try to keep the dirty jokes to a minimum.
That's why we have this channel.
Yeah, but I made it as family friendly as possible, which means that I stand in Australia. I stand as opposed to Sam Bogan. Now, I have no problems with Bogan. I love the guy. He's awesome. But I'm like that antithesis. I represent that other side. There's a lot of people that would love to send a review of something he's done to their grandma, but there's all the beer, and there's all the dickheads, and they're all cunts, and there's the jokes about your nanny's fanny, and that's literally what I decided, that I have to be as genuine as possible, but I'll present my face.
Yeah.
And then there will be all these other faces that present, because we need more. I'm not sure you know why I'm talking about this. If you want to have a vape channel, fucking go and do it. You're awesome. You've got something to share. Get yourself a camera. Get online. Join us.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you never get past 150, or if you exceed me and you go to 150K. I don't care.
And that's the thing. Get out there and just do it. And don't think that people aren't paying attention to your stuff. Because for sure, like, I get it. You guys come here and, like, I know if we were doing temperature-wise, we're pretty warm right now with the reception that we get. But the thing is like, even though you see the interaction with the likes and stuff like that, you still have hundreds of viewers that are seeing this. I sent the picture yesterday to Steve, and this is to our group chat. I'm going to pop it up real quick. And it's not about a brag or boast or nothing, but I'm amazed that from where we started, we're almost a year into the Amigos channel, and like 3 months, we'll be doing this for a year. That's our anniversary. But I sent this picture of, like, YouTube gives you your stats, and I pay attention to the emails and I watch all that stuff. If you don't think anyone's ever paying attention to you, because you'll see our videos, we don't get more than like 25 likes, I think, at best on most stuff, nothing like that. But the fact is, you are reaching people. And the thing is, our message must be resonating with some, because we don't have all the negative downvotes and all that crap going on. But I'll pop it up for you guys real quick. We got 12 new subscribers. We got 908 views last month of me and Steve here yelling at you guys. And then me on Friday with my thumb up my butt doing that. And then 9,000 plus minutes watched. People spent 9,000 minutes watching us. And this is, like I said, it's not a brag or boast, but what I'm saying is, if we can do it, if I can do it, you can do it. You can get out there and you can spread a message. It's all about spreading the message. That's all it's about. I've seen other channels from when I started doing this with these guys on the Amigos stuff to now do some good stuff, and they were doing great stuff. But their viewership wasn't there, and they gave up real easily. If that were the case and you give up real easily on anything, whether it's this, whether it's fighting for advocacy, you're going to go nowhere and you're going to be miserable the whole time.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I mentioned earlier that in Australia we've had this constant slew of people that feel like there's no representation, so they start a channel, and they usually go 3 to 6 months and then fizzle out. Or they have their channel for a couple of years, but it's literally a video every 2 months. And the thing is I think for them, they have the idea and they have the concept, but they don't have the passion. And you have to love doing it. An hour spent editing is not an hour wasted for me. That's an hour of joy. I enjoy that work. I enjoy filming. I enjoy cameras and lights and microphones. And whenever I get a chance to get some new gear, I'm really excited. DIY Down Under was talking about the budget. A lot of the reason why that budget is so low for the documentary is because I am a camera geek. And yeah, I've got...
You know how to work with what you got.
I will be pulling all those in to do it. They're already accounted for. There's an extra like 20 grand right there just in gear that's be used for the documentary. But you have to be passionate and consistent and constantly be trying to improve yourself for yourself, not for the numbers, not for the likes, not for the attention, but because you're just really into what you're doing and trying to make a better thing. Now, I had the biggest respect for Todd's reviews. He's a guy who doesn't really give a shit about cameras or lighting or color balance. He's got the minimal setup, but he has passion for what he does and how he does it. That's why he does 4 or 5 videos a week, every week, since before almost any of us were doing this. He's been doing this for almost a decade now, and no stopping in his way. Full-on respect for that. I have a massive respect for Matt from Suckway Mod, who's trying to put more cinematic efforts in the beginning of the video, which I want to do, but I'm inconsistent with it.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I get lazy. But, do it your way.
Yeah. You got to do it your own way, because if not, you come across and you don't look genuine. And the thing is I'll give a little bit of back look into like where I came from with this. I never did YouTube live streaming before this. I never did anything like this before. I would sit here in not necessarily just in this room, but I'd sit here behind my computer on Zoom by myself in a room by myself and look at how stupid I looked when I was talking, or how dumb I did things, and then how I would just talk to myself, and I would just go back and forth. But the thing is you have to get out there and you have to do it. If you think you're going to do it and jump in there and get instant likes and get instant vape fame, I'm here to tell you that's not going to happen. It takes time. It takes hard work. You have to fail to succeed. And I don't mean fail until you drive yourself into the ground, but you're going to try and do something and no one's going to like it and they're going to laugh at it. Or you're going to find people that think that you're an idiot and that your message is stupid. But as long as you believe in the message enough, you're going to get to where you need to go. You can't get to the point of saying I made it if you can't look back and say, man, I went through these tough times to do it. Because it just doesn't happen that way. But while we're ranting on real quick, since we've already hit over an hour, thank you guys for staying this long. Start hitting the X1s in the chat. We'll give you the X-Mania from Desire. I'm no way endorsing this company. My personal opinion is that they fucking suck. But I do have this pretty neat mod to give to you, and it's 21700. So if you got 18650s, you will need a sleeve, which is not included. But go ahead and start throwing the X1s in the chat. And yeah, so you have to be passionate about it. Like Steve said, he enjoys doing that. Yeah. There's so many photos that I have edited and spent days on that you'll never see. You will never see because I don't think they're up to par. But you know what? Like Steve said, it's not wasted time. I enjoy doing it.
While you guys are doing that, Rob Gain has said that my Canadian roots show in my reviews. I guess that's the politeness. I don't know.
You got Tim Hortons in the background
there, but he has brought up something in my memory that speaking of all those faces, those people that really resonated with me when I first got into this, the different personalities. There's a couple of people that have disappeared, and I miss them. And I have no way of getting in touch with them or contacting them. I would love to send them some sort of message that they've affected me, that they've brought me to this point. So I'm going to do it here. And if you know them, pass it on. If you know someone who knows someone, pass it on. And if some way, get them to get in touch with us. I'd love, even if they're not going to continue doing their channels, I'd love to have them come on. Two different people that I remember who always delighted, and I was excited to see their reviews because they did things differently. Didn't always agree with their opinions. That didn't matter. I just loved the passion they had, and the way that they did their videos was very, very personal, very unique to them. There used to be a guy by the name of Homeboy Josh, and he did reviews where he green screened himself down into a little guy, and he'd be standing next to the product, pointing at the bits and pieces. And then sometimes he would be Big Josh and Little Josh. And sometimes he would just fuck up a review, but then he'd find some way of editing all the fuck ups into the review and keeping it entertaining. He didn't go for like outtakes. He actually included his fuck ups into the review, and I just loved his work. His camera work, he could have used a bit of work, but man, the passion that he had for keeping what he was doing entertaining and lively was fucking awesome. The other guy, I can't remember his genuine name, which really makes me sad. But his channel was called Northern Fog, and it's still out there. And he was one of those guys that just decided to start doing this. And he had some friends, I think, in the industry locally. He's in Vancouver, which of course appealed to me. But he took his camera out, and he went to the park. And he'd be sitting there outside of a lake. It was a very Canadian sort of thing, right? Very clearly a city boy. But he's sitting on a rock next to a lake with some trees around him. And he'd say, we're going to go look at this thing. And instead of doing what I do, which is, filming it at home and then going back to where you were, he'd actually lay down a little towel and he'd do all his bits and pieces on the ground right there. Like he filmed everything in the one go. So it was just really, really nice. Every review was in a different location, and it was quite lively, and it was a huge change. It was really nice to see someone who wasn't doing, again, the habits that I fall into. Here I am at my desk with my fancy lights and my funky background. Let's go down to the table, and we're back. He changed things up, and he actually highlighted the beauty of where he was. If I wasn't such a lazy fuck, I would do the same thing here. Every time I think about doing it, we either have a flood or a fire. But yeah, those two guys, they really, really inspired me an awful lot. There's tons of others, but those two, they're gone, and they, for some reason, they just stopped one day, and I really, really, truly miss their content. I honestly do. So if you see them online, if you know who they are, give them a high five and tell them that Steve says hi and he misses you.
Hell yeah. And I want to address it in the chat. Excuse me. Address the chat real quick. Sorry, I'm still getting over the phlegm of being sick for 2 years. DIY Down Under said that if she were to X1, would I give it to a homeless person that smokes? And so here's what was my response. And obviously I can't type tonight. Anyways, with something like this, I don't think giving a device that would be considered complicated right away to someone that would have no experience on the battery usage and how to use it, or to be able to easily attain the stuff. But that gave me a good idea, and I'm going to see if I can get my hands on them. I work for a really good company that has some stuff. I'll see if I can make this happen. Single-use devices, yes, I will give away to people that are downtrodden, or in situations to where they're smoking and doing stuff like that, because you just use it, and then when it's done, you throw it away. And I get, it's with giving away a full device like something like this, they wouldn't know how to use it per se. The thing is, you sure you could explain to them, but they wouldn't be able to easily attain batteries. They might not even be able to get access to electricity with a charger and stuff like that. But that gave me an idea. I'm going to put it on the notes on my phone about disposables, and let's see if we can make that happen.
Rob Gain has asked the name of the guy from Northern Fog, so I actually took the time to look it up. His channel is still there. I mean, 4 million views. I mean, he's doing okay. He's had 19K views in the last 30 days, which is not bad for a channel that's literally been abandoned. His last video was 3 years ago. Dude did some nice work. John Elkington in Vancouver, that's the guy. If you see him, tell him that he's still getting good views and come on back. Come on back to YouTube. Even if he doesn't want to do more reviews, why don't he come on the show here? Come on with us. I'd have him.
And if you guys ever have ideas of people that you'd want to see on our show, I can't guarantee we'll get some of the people you might ask for. Our email, theamigosandco@gmail.com. And if you guys have anything that you guys want to throw at us to put on the show, please shoot it to us. Well, I check the email daily, every day at work and all this stuff, or when it pops up, I have it direct to my phone. And I know, we're not really the channel to where, we feed, we have the great, not that that's a bad thing, but the rapport with the viewers giving us ideas and us going back and forth. But me and Steve are trying to, think of ideas to get new stuff going. If you guys haven't noticed, we haven't had a Breeze Tones for 2 weeks because he is out busy doing real big boy stuff, handling business, working his ass off, doing stuff. So me and Steve are looking to bring stuff in to, not necessarily fill the void of him while he can't be on the show at certain times, but to just bring the channel better for, what you guys want to see on stuff and then how we can provide it. Because it's like a cheeseburger. There's a million places that sell cheeseburgers, but we're going to have the best fucking cheeseburger you're ever going to see.
Mowgli Vapes, if you can get me the phone number of her agent, I will try. I will absolutely try. I would fucking love to have Aubrey Plaza on the show.
Oh my god, Queen. I wouldn't be able to be on the show. I'd be like, all right, fine, I'll tell a quick story, then we'll count the X1s. But if we ever had Aubrey Plaza on the show, it'd be me at this strip club called Babes, right? There's this little hole-in-the-wall strip club in Vegas, back when I was drinking, we would go to after work on Fridays, because they had a happy hour that lasted till 8 p.m., and you get $1.50 beers and $2 shots. Long story short, there's a dancer there, and I've already cleared it with the other half, so it's alright. She just laughs at me like a fucking clown. Her name is Selena, and every time she talks to me, and I'm not gonna lie, she's real pretty or whatever, but I go so if we ever had Aubrey Plaza on the show, you guys would turn me into essentially mom spaghetti. Anyways, stop throwing the X1.
I wouldn't think he'd be as floppy as spaghetti.
Oh man, it depends. I'm talking like the non-boiled spaghetti. What's up? No. Anyways, stop on the X1s, guys, and then I'll go ahead and toss them in the randomizer, and then we'll get a winner going. And then I'll type it in the chat because it takes forever to catch up. But I'm gonna draw from what we have here. The last one was Mowgli, and let's see who wins this device from a shady company. Alright, so not that far. Alright. Copy. Paste. Alright, Steve. Go ahead and choose us our lucky number for tonight. Your options are between 1 and 930.
Holy crap, Mowgli put a lot of X1s in here. Let's see. 342.
342. Let's scroll up. And it is fucking Mowgli. Hold on, can I screen share this?
Of course it's Mowgli. You literally spammed the crap out of the chat.
There you guys go. I don't know if it's gonna pop up on the screen. I don't know how screen share works. But yeah. So there you go, Mowgli. I'm gonna leave it up there for one more second, and then yeah. So 342 Mowgli Vapes. You won that. And yeah. So there you go, Mowgli. I got you on Facebook, so please, when you get a chance, shoot me. Oh, you can't see it. I don't know. See, I can't figure out screen share. I was trying to fuck with it this weekend. I don't know if you guys saw it in the feed. Anyway, let me finish this thought, and then I'll get that thought, and we'll end the show. We've been here for a long time. Mowgli, shoot me your info on Facebook, and I will get that sent out to you tomorrow morning with tracking info and all that. But my other thing was, we have a Facebook group. It's the Amigos & Co. Facebook group. And if you guys want to find it and be a part of it, that's fine. We neglect it like it's a stepchild, so I'm sorry on that end. We try to be interactive at least once, twice a week. I try and go in there and go live. Anyways, on Sunday, I was going to make a graphic. This one was more for personal use for Steve, and it was a Pinky in the Brain graphic. And so I was live streaming me editing the photo, and it wouldn't let me save the photo on the page because I had music playing in the background. Anyways, do not smoke massive amounts of Gorilla Glue. Go live on Facebook while you're editing a cartoon with your face on it and then think it's going to come out good, because this is what you get.
And it was about that point that I decided I need to teach you how to use masks.
But I did make something else. It's not that great. It's just for personal use for Steve. I'll put it in the Facebook group, whatever. It's not that great. But I was trying to be cool and like do something different for the group and the channel and all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. I'm not doing that again. If the video would have stayed, you guys would have just saw me going like this. Well, you wouldn't see me. You would just see the screen. And then me painting in my face. White face? Is that politically correct? And then you just hear me going. So yeah, we'll end the show on me looking like that, and you guys just got to hear that. Anyway, Steve, you got any last thoughts, man?
Let's see. Let's try to think of something off the top of my head really quick, really profound, really active. It's been, what, how long have we been doing this? It's
3 months short of a year.
It's almost,
Oh, you're talking about tonight.
We haven't said butthole yet, so I'm going to end the show on butthole.
We keep it real classy around here. Otherwise, I got nothing for you. Friday, I will be back with my other awesome co-host, Glenn Hefner, which he chose a giveaway. Shoestring Tom's in the chat. He sent out a vert to him all the way to Ireland. We'll be doing another giveaway then. Do I know what we're going to give away? No, but this whole shelf up here, we got a bunch of shit to give away. A lot of it also, shameless promotion time, was donated by my awesome boss at Local Vape, Erica Pierce, which runs Local Vape. She had a big box of stuff in her office she doesn't get rid of. She said, here, give this away on your channel, blah, 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 for free. I was like, you want to pay for it? She's like, no, shut up and get back to work, you piece of crap. No, she's very nice. She didn't say that. But, so a lot of this stuff, shout out to Erica from Local Vape, gave it to us. And then also, you can get Breeze Tones coils, all 3 variations now, at localvape.com. And if you use the code Amigos20, Amigos20, you will you will get yourself a 20% discount off your whole order. But you should really buy some Breeze Tones coils. He's got 26s, 27, and 28 gauge aliens. He's also he's a part of the tripod for our show. He's out there busy, busting his ass. So if you see him on social media, he's really taking time out of his day to do stuff. So show him some love, guys. He's an amazing guy. Other than that, that's all I got. I'll see you back Friday with Glenn Hefner. And that's it. Legion, check him out on Facebook, Instagram, and let me post the crowd. Oh, never mind. I can't post that because I don't have it. We will see you guys next week. And you guys have a great fucking night, day, wherever you're at.